Prepare-se para virar à direita. Vire à direita. Siga em frente. Continua à direita e depois vira à direita. Vire à direita. direita e depois saia na saída à direita. Saia na saída à direita. Vire à direita.
Somebody hit him on purpose.
Is he breathing?
I don't know, I can't tell. You're coming here to fight him because you're mad at him.
Let me ask you this. Can I get you to step with me over here for me, please?
Try to call him and see if he'll respond to you.
David, come on. Wake up, David.
Start roping this off because this is going to be a crime scene. All right.
On May 7th, 2023, a 46-year-old man's lifeless body is found at the end of a secluded road, lying in the grass 50 feet away from his wrecked vehicle. Police and first responders get to a scene that has all the markings of a terrible accident. But when investigators start putting the pieces of this tragic puzzle together, they begin to uncover a truth that is far more sinister. The following report is based on official police records, and some of the footage has never been seen before until now. At 1:34 a.m. on the morning of May 7th, 2023, a frantic 911 call comes into dispatchers in Greenwood, South Carolina.
Okay, what happened?
Somebody has hit the car, he's out of the car, he's been beaten, he's on fire.
Is it a car wreck?
But it's a one-person car wreck.
He's unconscious?
Yes, it's really bad. He needs immediate assistance.
Okay. Is he breathing?
I don't know, I can't tell.
Okay, listen to me. Where is he bleeding from?
His nose and his definitely his nose.
You said his nose and what else?
Definitely his nose, and I can't tell if it's his air. Oh my God.
Okay, look.
His ears.
Continua a direita.
Okay, listen to me.
E depois vira à direita.
He bled on his back,
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to turn him on to his
A
side?
direita.
Yes.
Okay, listen. You said he's bleeding from his nose and his ears?
Yes.
Okay, is anybody out there with you?
Yes, I'm with 2 other people. Can we stop right now, please?
We've got EMS and law enforcement coming, okay? Okay, listen to me. Can you tell if he's breathing? Is his chest moving up and down?
It doesn't seem like it. Can I touch his chest?
Okay.
Here's the bleeding going really bad.
Okay, listen. Do you feel any warm air coming from his nose or his mouth?
No.
You don't feel any warm air?
Actually, maybe. I can't really tell. I'm sorry. I'm scared to talk to him.
Okay, I understand. What is your name?
I feel it.
The dispatcher works to help the caller, a teenager named Megan, provide as much assistance as possible until first responders arrive.
Okay, listen to me. Can you tell if he's still breathing? Can you try to talk to him, see if you can wake him up?
So I can touch him? Is that okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Try to call him and see if he'll respond to you.
David, come on. Wake up. David, come on, David. Wake up.
Can you tell if he's breathing?
I think he's breathing, yes.
You think he's breathing? Okay. Is he moving around at all when you call him?
Here's the report.
Okay, what's his name?
His name's David McClendon. Do I need to speak?
This is only the first of many personal details that will emerge on this horrific night. But as police and EMTs descend on the scene, the first order of business is to save Davis McClendon's life.
Okay. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, they're giving him CPR. Oh my God.
He's still on the line. He might not be breathing.
David.
It's hard to tell anything.
As the first deputies and medics arrive on the scene, it becomes quickly clear that the 911 caller's use of the phrase one-person car wreck was misleading. It's true that only Davis McClendon is here at the scene, but a deputy notes that his injuries are consistent with being struck by a vehicle. His damaged BMW is sitting some distance away, and the vehicle that seemingly hit both Davis and his car spilled oil all over the road. In fact, the oil isn't just splattered here at the scene. It leaves a trail heading away from the Hunters Creek subdivision. 2 Greenwood deputies decide to follow that trail, and from what Megan and her friends have said, they have a pretty good idea where it will lead them.
Myself and 316 are gonna head over there, see what the vehicle's there.
The house that he's supposed to be in with the kids is... Are you in there now?
Yes.
Head with you.
No, stay here. It's not gonna go over there. We're gonna see if the car's there.
What vehicle it was in?
Negative. We're gonna go see if we can find a vehicle there. Just roping this off because this is gonna be a crime scene.
All right.
Although the 911 caller didn't see the incident, she definitely has strong
Continua a
suspicions
direita.
about what happened
E
before
depois
she
siga à
arrived.
direita.
Who assaulted him?
Everything is split out to me. He's just coming here to fight him because he's mad at
À
him.
direita.
And then he sounded like this.
Okay, so the person that assaulted him, you said his name's Bud Ackerman?
Yes.
Does he live in High Street?
And he had him moving on his pavement, and like right outside of Hunter Street, it's like 2 minutes away. It's like Old Abbeville Highway.
Okay, did he assault him? Did he have a weapon, or do you know? Did anybody see him assault him? Did anybody see it happen?
No, I don't think that we got here. Nobody was here. We were gonna leave until I saw his body a couple feet away on the side of the church.
Megan, who is still back at the scene, is not alone. She's with a woman named Meredith Haney, who is Bud Ackerman's estranged wife. Megan is in fact a frequent babysitter for their children, the 3 of whom are staying with Bud for the weekend, Meredith tells police. And as the deputies make contact with Bud at his parents' residence, those kids and their safety are their first priority.
Demo, I see it. Hey, garage is open. Garage is open. Sheriff's office. Are there some kids here?
Yeah.
Okay. Whose kids are they?
Mine.
Yours and who?
My wife.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Can I get you to step with me over here for me, please? You have your ID on you?
I do not.
Okay. Just step over here for me.
Bud will do very little talking to police that night, but they've already got the beginnings of a tangled backstory, merely from what Megan told them in her initial call.
Okay, so how did y'all know he was out there?
Because he's dating my wife, and he's been really close, and he's really mad. He's been trying to find her all night.
Okay, so David has been dating Bud's ex-wife?
Yes.
It will later emerge that Meredith and Bud separated and began divorce proceedings approximately 1 year earlier. But while Bud will later admit that this breakup was against his wishes, his frustration with the situation reaches a new level on April 29, 2023, about a week before his incident. That's when he learned from a mutual friend that Meredith had begun dating a man named Davis McClendon. Investigators will later find a text message Bud sent to a friend expressing his outrage at the news. Bud texts, "What the hell is Davis thinking, man? I mean, what the hell, Danny?" Danny replies back, "I have no clue what you're talking about. What did he do?" Bud writes, "He's been Meredith." He goes on to say, "I had my suspicions, but it was confirmed by her. I can't believe he'd do that to me. I mean, damn, I've known him my whole life." And when Danny simply writes, "I don't know what to tell you, Bud," Bud replies, "Damn, I don't know either. It's just f***ed up." Exactly 1 week after the text exchange, on the evening of Saturday, May 6th, Meredith and Davis go out to dinner at a restaurant called Break on the Lake, where security cameras pick up their arrival. It's only 4.5 hours before the tragedy on Abbott Road. Davis goes inside while Meredith stays behind in the car. She's FaceTiming with her kids, who are at Bud's house and using their dad's phone to chat with her. What she doesn't know is that Bud is observing the screen as well, and he recognizes the scenery in the background. He doesn't know for certain that she's with Davis, but he has his suspicions. It's 8:48 p.m., and a bad night is only just beginning. Many hours later, deputies at Bud's house take careful note of the fresh, oily footprints that decorate the floor.
So, footprints.
Yeah.
Footprints. 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 That's the door I came in. Oily footprints. Oily footprints.
The investigators follow the footprint trail back to a bedroom, where they appear to come to an end at the foot of the bed.
Is this parents' room? Okay.
Twist there, over here. This, yeah, a bunch right here. I'm pretty sure it's when they shoot the kids out.
Yeah.
Investigators will indeed find oily residue on the shoes Bud is wearing that night, as well as a small amount of what appears to be blood on his hands. Both were presumably clean earlier that night when he was at a local bar called the Key West Club, where surveillance shows him ordering at least 4 beers over an hour-and-a-half time period. But Bud isn't just drinking and socializing. He's making repeated attempts to get in contact with Meredith, who's left Break on the Lake and is now with Davis at a friend's party. At one point, frustrated that Meredith won't take his calls, Bud texts her a message. "Why do you hate me? I just don't understand." When a friend who was at Key West Club that night calls Meredith to tell her that Bud is gone, Meredith and Davis head up to the bar themselves. According to what Meredith would later tell investigators, Bud continued calling repeatedly during this time. She says that when she finally did take his call, he demanded to know where she was and why she was refusing to speak to him. The call logs would later reveal that between 9:07 p.m. and 12:15 a.m. that night, Bud attempted to call Meredith a total of 36 times. At his residence in the hours after the incident, investigators take a close look at Bud's Ford F-250, which just happens to look like it's been in a crash.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's what I walked up. I was like, oh yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's a palm mark. But like that right there, yeah.
There's a little speck right there.
Mm-hmm.
Bud himself refuses to answer any questions without a lawyer present, but the circumstantial evidence is piling up quickly. As for Meredith, she says she tried reaching out to Bud's friends and family while at the Key West Club earlier that night. In the meantime, Davis sent a text message to a friend saying, "FYI, apparently Bud is drunk and out trying to hunt Meredith down. She's wanting to call the cops. I was hoping maybe he could get his dad to rope him in." At almost the same time, Bud Ackerman is on the hunt, scoping out the parking lot at the now closed Break on the Lake restaurant for any signs of Meredith and Davis. He makes 2 circles through the lot before leaving. Investigators will later learn, thanks to the Ford's onboard computer, that he also drove down the street where Meredith lived and down the street where Davis lived in an effort to find the couple. Back at the Key West Club, Davis decides enough is enough and tells Meredith he's going to call Bud and talk to him about the relentless attempts to get her on the phone. Meredith watches her boyfriend walk away, never imagining it would be for the last
Mantenha-se
time.
à esquerda.
Bud would later characterize the call as aggressive, saying that Davis was threatening to beat him up. While the true nature of the conversation cannot be known, what is known is that Davis and Bud agree to meet near the intersection of Abbott Road and Sawgrass Place. According to Bud, and confirmed by the call logs, he called Davis back at 1:09 a.m. He says he told Davis at that time that he wouldn't be meeting him after all, and would instead be going home. Bud says that Davis cursed at him and taunted him for backing
Mantenha-se à
out,
esquerda.
at which time he drove straight to the meeting place. At 1:11 a.m., his final approach is caught on a local resident's surveillance camera. The camera only captures the sound of the impact, but another resident's camera records the moment of impact itself. The first camera not only captures the sound of the incident, but also Bud yelling something in the seconds following the impact. At 1:13 a.m., Bud's truck can be seen leaving the area. He would later say that the collision was an accident caused by Davis standing in the middle of the road. Bud says that he only saw Davis at the last second, at which point he jerked the steering wheel as hard as he could to avoid Davis and smash into his car instead. The onboard computer system shows that he did not hit the brakes and was traveling at 25 miles per hour in his Ford F-250. Davis would die that night at Self Regional Medical Center at the age of 46. At 6:30 in the morning on May 7th, roughly 5 hours after the incident, Bud Ackerman is arrested and transported to the Greenwood County Detention Center. On trial for murder the following year, he would insist that he never meant to harm Davis McClendon that night, and that it was only due to panic that he failed to call 911. The jury deliberated for less than 30 minutes before delivering a unanimous verdict of guilty. In October 2024, 42-year-old William Bud Ackerman was sentenced to 45 years in prison for murder. He's housed at the Tiger River Correctional Institution in Spartanburg County, South Carolina.
A massive hurricane forced the evacuation of North Carolina's Outer Banks. Some of the evacuees were suspects in a murder investigation, and police had to find some way to get them back. The Outer Banks of North Carolina is one of America's favorite getaway destinations. Nearly 7 million people visit these beaches every year.
The beaches are very nice, lots of good restaurants, real family-oriented place.
In 1993, Janet Siclari came to Nags Head, North Carolina for a week's vacation, along with her brother Robert and several friends. Janet was 35 years old and had recently broken up with her boyfriend.
Janet had previous 10-year relationship with someone. It just never was totally right for her. It had to be perfect, and she never found the Mr. Perfect that she was looking for.
On their last evening in town, Janet went to dinner with her 2 girlfriends. Later, they went to a nearby nightclub.
The girls decided that they wanted to get home. They were tired, and they wanted to pack up. Janet was still having fun and was partying, so they left her with the car because she was going to be basically by herself, and they knew that she would be easier to drive back while they walked together.
At dawn the next morning, a sanitation worker found Janet's body on the beach. just 10 yards from the front of her hotel.
She was only wearing a blue denim top with no clothing below the waist, and she was clutching a pair of white denim shorts to her neck area.
A rape test kit proved Janet had been sexually assaulted. Next to Janet's body was a pair of men's size 9 tennis shoes with gray socks inside.
It was very odd that there was this rape and murder on the beach and this pair of shoes within 30 feet of the body. This was just sort of a bizarre fact. And we had always been suspicious that they were connected. It's just too coincidental.
Police decided not to release the cause of death to the media, so if a suspect knew how she was killed, there would be only one way to know that. Janet had been sharing a hotel room with her brother Robert. He told police Janet got back around 2:30 in the morning.
Robert was asleep when he heard her come in the room. She came in, he said, lit a cigarette and put her purse down and said something like, I'm just gonna go out and smoke this cigarette, and walked right out the door.
Robert said he was barely awake, but thought Janet might have been with friends.
He thought that he heard some voices outside the door, some whispering, and thought that perhaps Janet was with someone else. He wasn't real clear on this ever in his statements.
Unfortunately, none of the hotel employees saw Janet enter or leave the hotel.
That room was at the end of a hall that faced the ocean, and right outside their door was a doorway and a set of stairs that led out and down to the deck and right to the ocean, so she didn't have to go back through the lobby to get out of the hotel to go to the ocean.
Police now had to search for witnesses, anyone who might have been in the general area around 3 o'clock in the morning. And in a vacation community, that wouldn't be easy. No one, neither family nor investigators, could make sense of Janet Siclari's murder.
This was a horrific crime. This was a stranger sexual assault and murder. And if there is any other crime that's more horrific than that, I don't know what it is.
Things like this don't happen to people who live their life honestly and decently. They just don't.
Carolinian was a relatively large hotel that went north and south for some 100 feet. It would have been a sound barrier that would have prevented anything probably that had occurred on the beach except some loud firework type sound or a gunshot to have been heard.
Police attempted to retrace Janet's steps on the day of her murder. According to her two girlfriends, Janet spent time in the afternoon with the hotel's bartender, Reed Powell, and they immediately hit it off.
They were talking to each other. Janet was flirting a little bit, I think, with Reed. He was quiet and he was shy, which was probably very attractive to Janet.
Later that evening, Janet and her friends ran into Reed at the Portico bar. Reed was there with his girlfriend, but he had gotten into a fight.
While Reed was at the Portico, he saw his girlfriend dancing with another gentleman and got a little bit upset about that, and there was a slight altercation as a result.
When Janet's friends went back to the hotel, Janet stayed behind to talk to Reed. They left the bar at closing time around 2 a.m.
So he stated that he was going to take a cab, and at that point, Janet told him there was no sense in that she would give him a ride since she was going right by his house to go back to the hotel.
When questioned, Reed Powell told police that after Janet dropped him off at home, he got the keys to his car and went looking for his girlfriend to patch things up.
His girlfriend was an employee of the Carolinian, and they had apartments there for employees.
The Carolinian was also where Janet Siclari was staying.
Reed drove to the Carolinian Hotel, and while waiting there for his girlfriend in the parking lot, he observed Janet arrive at the hotel and go inside by herself.
Reed said he didn't speak with Janet at the time. He eventually saw his girlfriend when she returned to the hotel.
They got into a verbal argument, and he ended up slapping her across the face. That pretty much ended the conversation. His girlfriend went on to her apartment, and he went back to his apartment.
When police asked Reed what he was doing while waiting for his girlfriend, he made a shocking revelation.
He had gotten hungry and carried with him a steak knife and a stick of pepperoni and sat in the car as he was waiting for his girlfriend to return.
This was a valuable piece of information and possibly incriminating. Janet had been stabbed to death on the beach that night, but police didn't release this information to the public. Reed Powell admitted he was sitting just 100 yards away from where Janet was murdered with a knife in his hand.
Reed Powell was a very prime suspect in the investigation. They had had interactions that day indicating something more than just a friendship or just an acquaintance type relationship. So all of this was very much a concern of ours and led us to look at him very closely.
The investigation of Janet Siclari's murder was just 1 day old when Mother Nature provided an unexpected setback. Hurricane Emily, a Category 3 storm, was bearing down on the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
The whole island was completely turned upside down by a mandatory evacuation caused by a hurricane that did significant damage to the island. So we lost the crime scene and we were worried that we were losing witnesses.
Approximately 80,000 people evacuated the area, but the prime suspect, Reed Powell, stayed in town.
There was only one person that we thought could be a suspect, and that was Reed. He was the only person that we had talked to extensively that week and allowed into our little circle.
Police searched Reed's home and confiscated several steak knives.
The steak knives were submitted to the laboratory to look for the presence of blood on them. However, none of them demonstrated any indications for the presence of blood.
Investigators also took a sample of Reed's DNA. At the time, in 1993, DNA testing wasn't as advanced as it is today. The method at the time was to compare the length and patterns of autorads, which looked very much like barcode.
We compared the DNA profile from it to the DNA profile from the vaginal swabs, and it was very easy to determine that it was not a match.
I think we were all somewhat surprised that this was not a match.
Continua a direita.
Police discovered there were 10 other men who were either in the vicinity of the murder or had some contact with Janet the week of her vacation. All were asked to provide a DNA sample.
I examined them and their DNA standards and compared them to the DNA profile obtained from the sperm cells. Every single one of them was eliminated in this case.
It began to look like the perpetrator had already left the area, either because his vacation was over or because of the mandatory evacuation.
At that point in my career, I'd never had a case of this significance that we were not able to solve. So it was extremely frustrating and extremely heartbreaking.
Months stretched into years, and the case turned cold.
Of course, there's a lot of frustration when you're trying to deal with something like this. You're thinking that the more time goes on, the more that they'll never find the person. And you just sort of try to live with it and say that, you pray someday it'll happen, but you're thinking after 5 years it's not going to happen.
But during that period of time, the FBI developed a way for every state to access the DNA profiles collected in other states. At the time, not every state collected DNA samples from convicted felons. But for the majority that did, this new system was a godsend, and they called the database CODIS, or Combined DNA Indexing System. So, in 1997, almost 5 years after Janet Siclari's murder, North Carolina officials entered the killer's DNA profile into the CODIS system. And they got a match. Amazingly, it matched someone living just an hour away in the same state of North Carolina.
This was our first, what we call first cold hit of a unsolved murder homicide, no suspect, and this was the first cold hit the state had ever had.
The DNA matched 32-year-old Thomas Jabin Berry, a commercial fisherman and convicted sex offender. One of those convictions was for an assault on a 12-year-old girl. Berry claims he was innocent of that charge.
She wasn't 12, she was 14. I got the paperwork in there. But, or she was 13 going on 14 or something like that. But, no, it was all consensual.
She was 12 years old. She was a kid.
When police caught up with Berry, he was in prison for a parole violation. Investigators showed him photographs of Janet Siclari and asked if he'd ever seen her. At first he claimed he hadn't, but in a subsequent interview he said he vaguely recalled her.
I had to have had sex with Janet. I mean, that's obvious from the DNA, but it would have been consensual, and there was no, I would have never killed nobody. I'd never kill anybody.
For him to say he had consensual sex with Janet is untruthful. It's a lie. I think the evidence shows that what happened was a rape and a homicide.
We were dealing with two crimes here. One was a rape and one was a murder. And while the evidence of DNA, we felt like went very strongly towards prosecuting a person for the rape of Janet Siclari, that wasn't conclusive evidence of a murder.
For more evidence, investigators had to look at the shoes found next to Janet's body. And inside, they found a huge surprise. The prime suspect in Janet Siclari's murder was Thomas Jabin Berry. He admitted he was in Nag's Head at the time, but he claimed any contact he had with Janet was consensual.
I had sex with a lot of people on the beach. I wouldn't have had any idea, you know, if we met that way and then just started walking and talking and one thing led to another. I've had that happen several times in my life. As a matter of fact, my first wife and I met that way.
But a look at Berry's background revealed his sexual history was far from innocent.
There were approximately a dozen other victims of sexual assault by Mr. Berry. We found one incident where he actually raped a young lady on the beach.
As for the night of the murder, Berry admitted he was on drugs.
I think Berry had been on the beach that night somewhere, partying, drinking, doing crack. He admitted in his statements that that period of time, he was high on crack a lot.
To Janet Siclari's friends and family, the possibility of her having sex with a complete stranger was totally out of character.
She wasn't one to have a casual fling or an affair with someone. She was looking for something really sturdy in her life at 35 years old, a nice, good relationship.
But prosecutors didn't have to convince Janet's friends. They had to convince a jury. In an attempt to find something besides the DNA that tied Berry to the murder, detectives turned to the only other evidence at the crime scene, the tennis shoes. Berry denied the shoes were his.
The only way we could think to do that was to find someone who could do shoe impressions to see if there was a way to say, like a fingerprint, except with a foot in a shoe.
Investigators contacted Robert Kennedy, a forensic expert with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. He had an international reputation for using barefoot impressions, particularly on the inside of shoes, as evidence.
I became involved with the barefoot research back in 1989. And as a result of a serial killer back in New Brunswick, we needed to see if the suspect's barefoot impressions would match the impressions found inside of the shoe.
Kennedy soon established a database of these impressions and did a detailed study of how they're made.
When somebody wears a pair of shoes, the foot generates a large amount of heat inside of the shoe, so the foot will sweat. The weight-bearing area of the foot will cause indentation on the insole of the shoe. So you have a combination of slight indentations, sweat, dirty, darkened marks inside of the shoe.
These marks are unique to an individual's feet, and therefore provide a potential basis for comparison. Kennedy got inked impressions on the bottoms of Thomas Berry's bare feet. Then he cut out the insoles of the shoes from the crime scene and photographed the surfaces. The images were overlaid for comparison.
There was no dissimilarities between the impression that Thomas Berry would make and the Spalding running shoe. So I was able to form a conclusion that Thomas Berry was the likely wearer of the Spalding running shoes.
To law enforcement, this placed Berry at the crime scene with the body.
We always were convinced they were connected, and that the shoes went with this crime, and that they all pointed to Thomas Berry as our suspect.
Prosecutors believe Janet gave Reed Powell a ride home from the bar, then went to her hotel. They believe her brother was mistaken when he said he heard voices coming from outside the room. Janet went back outside to smoke a cigarette. By tragic coincidence, Janet ran into Thomas Jabin Berry, a man with a history of sexual violence. He was also high on drugs. Prosecutors believe he used a knife to force Janet to have sex. Then he stabbed her to death so she couldn't identify him. Some in law enforcement think Berry left his shoes on the beach, so his shoe impressions wouldn't lead investigators back to his aunt's house near the hotel, where they think Berry spent the night.
In the end, Thomas Jabin Berry was the one who did himself in. If he had not violated the conditions of his parole, his sample would never have been available for us to analyze.
During Berry's murder trial, prosecutors learned an unfortunate piece of information.
He was back in the holding cell during the trial, and he made a comment to a jailer, "They'll never sentence me to death." The jailer said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, there's somebody on the jury. She's good friends with my mama. She watched me grow up."
The jury convicted Thomas Jabin Berry of rape and first-degree murder. But this particular juror was the only one to vote against the death penalty. So Berry was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Despite the forensic evidence, Berry still says he's innocent.
I'd been trying unsuccessfully, filing appeals and trying to get back in court, and I figured it couldn't hurt. You know, it may generate some publicity and help me in some way.
I say you're a liar. There's no question about it, because of all the types of scientific evidence out there, this evidence is irrefutable that Thomas Berry encountered Janet Seclario on August 28th. There's no question about it. That we proved beyond all doubt, instead of beyond a reasonable doubt. And if Mr. Berry says that, he's a liar.
Get your foot off the gas!
Get your foot off the gas, you're getting tased.
I'm trying to fix the car.
No, stop!
Get her out of here.
Stop!
Oh, please don't. I'm going on this, sir. Please, I'm scared of guns. Wait, where you scraping about? Get out of the car! Get out! I will! Get out of the car right now! Get out! Yeah! I think she took the pole. My friend.
Hey, your friend is almost dead. Your friend is almost dead right now.
On a chilly spring afternoon, Lake County Police respond to an ongoing robbery at a nearby store in Mattawa, Illinois. What begins as a calculated theft for the thieves quickly unfolds into a case that no one anticipates. As the masked suspects make their getaway, they're unaware that one of them will soon be fighting for their life. The following is based on official police records. On March 6, 2023, dispatch officers are notified about 3 women trying to flee a store after shoplifting in a gray Kia Optima. Officer Fink is the first to arrive and spots the suspects driving straight towards his patrol vehicle. As he attempts to stop them, they speed past him without hesitation.
Just one tried to go head on with me, and now they're taking off down 60, so I will terminate. Yeah, that's fine. They're eastbound 60, stuck at the red light at 21, and they're making it through, and they're continuing eastbound, but I am not following.
323, everybody. Nearly took off, no one else left.
Roughly 2 minutes later, the dispatch advises that a crash has occurred, and the vehicle involved is believed to belong to the shoplifters. Officer Hill immediately takes off towards the crash site, but is met with a heavily congested roadway. Knowing time is not on his side, he requests additional officers for backup. As officers rush towards the scene, none of them are prepared for the nightmare they're about to drive into.
Where'd the car go that hit you? Over there, there it is.
The car collided with a truck and was sent off the road into a wooden fence, narrowly missing the telephone and the traffic light pole. As Officer Hill relays this information to dispatch, he observes that the car has sustained heavy damage, casting doubt on anyone's survival. Just as more officers are showing up, Officer Hill notices some movement in the back of the car.
Do not get out of the vehicle! Stay in the car! Stay where you are! Do not even try to get out of the car! 323, we've got, it looks like all 3 occupants still in the vehicle. Airbags have gone off, the car's damaged pretty bad. Doors are unable to be opened, so we just got to get all 3 out of the car.
As Officers Fink and Kohler line up behind the vehicle, awaiting further instructions, they're unaware that the situation is about to become more dangerous.
Get your foot off the gas! Hey, they're putting it in reverse.
They're putting it in reverse. Get your foot off the gas!
Put the car in park! Police officers, put the car in park!
Stay in your car!
They're trying to take off.
Officers soon discover that the driver is still conscious and actively trying to maneuver the vehicle out of the wreckage.
Put the car in park! Get your hands up in the car! In the gray Kia, get your hands up! Dan, what do you want us to do?
Well, then that's not what we can do right now. We're not going to approach the car.
Despite law enforcement's persistent commands, the driver continues to reverse the vehicle.
Take my spot.
Who's got a shield?
I do!
As Officer Loss runs to grab her shield, it's still unknown whether the suspects are armed in any way. Earlier that day, 25-year-old Jariah Terrell, along with 26-year-olds Kanaya Williams and Brittany Christmas, entered the Ulta beauty store in masks. The women were in and out of the store in less than a minute, yet managed to make off with thousands of dollars in merchandise. Back at the scene, while officers know that they're the shoplifters, they're still unaware of their identities. As Officer Loss returns with the shield, Officer Hill takes charge, knowing the next move could be the difference between the safety of his officers or a complete disaster.
Hey, let's go over to the street. Let's go over to the street.
Dan, let's go over to that side so we can get the driver.
I can't get the driver. You can't go. You can't open that door.
Okay.
That door is completely...
Hey! Who's less lethal?
I got less lethal.
Who is less lethal?
I got less lethal.
Who's gonna go hands on with them? I will go hands on. Right. Got it? Got hands on.
We are ready.
Stay to the side. Stay to the side. Because they're not going to go sideways.
Get your hands up!
Hands up!
Police officers, get your hands up!
Hands up!
Police officers, get your hands up now!
Passenger!
The back passenger's door, hands out the back window. You, back passenger! I'll do the talking. Back passenger, keep your hands where I can see them.
Put your hands up!
Get out of the car right now! You! Get out of the car right now!
Kanaya can be seen opening the door to respond to the officers, but shuts it again quickly. She then moves to the opposite side and begins to talk with Officer Watson.
Stay right there, don't move. Okay, don't move. Stay right there, you stay right there. Right there. I see your hand. Stay right there until you're told to do so. Until you're told to do otherwise. Stay right there. Stay right there. Nobody's gonna shoot you, just keep your hands up.
In a shocking discovery, Officer Hill finds Brittany to be motionless in her seat, a chilling realization that she may be seriously injured.
In the front passenger seat, are you injured? Are you injured? We're not going to shoot anybody. We need to know if you guys need help.
With no response from Brittany, the situation quickly escalates into a medical emergency.
Okay, let's do this. Let's get up.
Here's the back one.
Let's be lethal on this side for me.
9102, we'll find you.
You go ahead and watch the open door.
10-4.
Do we have a sec? I don't think we have a second. Keep coming up. Keep coming left.
Stop! Get in front of the bus! I'm not pulling up.
You! Get over here now. Get to me. Get to me right now.
I will. Please don't shoot me. I'm scared. I don't trust you.
Get over here.
I don't trust you, please. I'm not trying to run.
If you run my foot over, I'm going to shoot you.
No, please don't. I'm not going. Don't be scared. Please, I'm scared of guns. Wait, you scraping my car?
Get out of the car.
I was getting out. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. I'm scared of guns. I don't care about it.
I got it. Get back up there, Dan. You get your foot off the gas or I'm going to tase you. Get your foot off the gas or I'm going to tase you. Get your foot off.
Get your foot off the gas pedal now.
If you get your foot off the gas, you're getting tased.
I'm trying to fix the car.
No, stop. Stop. Get your hands up now. You put the car in, you put your foot on the gas and then you're getting tased. Get your foot off the car. Don't move the gear. Shut the car off now. With the key, shut the car off. Shut it off.
Even with both passengers out of the car, the driver, Jariah, still refuses to cooperate with the officer's commands. Meanwhile, Brittany appears to have sustained a severe injury to her head, making officers question if she's going to make it. Time is ticking, and the officers need to find a way to safely relieve Jariah before the situation gets worse. The officers know they're running out of options, and with tensions rising, their patience wears thin.
Take the key out. Get out of the driver's door. Open it. Then crawl across to me now.
I'm trying. I don't know.
Turn the car off.
Stop letting me.
Turn the car off now. Turn the car off.
I'm trying.
Red taser.
Oh, what the fuck? I'm trying to help you guys.
Get around.